Hey friends, welcome back to The Truth Is, the podcast where we keep it real about work, life, and all the messy stuff in between. I'm your host, Tash, and today we're diving into something that I think is wildly underrated, but seriously necessary, especially in the world we're living in right now. Let me ask you something. Have you ever worked with someone who looked amazing on paper? Smart, experienced, maybe even kind of charming, but in real life, they just didn't get it. Like they had no clue how they were coming across, no social or emotional awareness whatsoever. Yeah, same. So today's episode is all about that missing piece because the truth is, EQ is your edge. But before we jump in, I want to take a moment to acknowledge what's happening in Texas right now. As some of you know, I'm originally from there, Houston to be exact. And my heart's been heavy this week watching the devastation from the floods in central Texas. Lives lost, families torn apart and displaced, entire communities underwater, homes destroyed and washed away, and people trying to rebuild from the ground up. It's absolutely heartbreaking. But one thing about Texans, we're resilient. I saw it during Hurricane Ike in 2008 and again with Harvey in 2017, which was one of the worst I've ever seen. People rally. They show up for each other. And while things are inevitably hard right now, I know that same spirit is carrying folks through again. And if you're tuning in from Texas right now, just know I see you. I am praying for you, and I am sending so much love your way. Please, please, please take care of yourselves and each other. And if you're listening in looking for ways to help, I've included a link in the episode description that will direct you to verified organizations you can donate to. Every dollar counts, so please consider contributing anything you can. And honestly, thinking about Texas always reminds me of one of my favorite things about the South, the hospitality. Like when someone asks, "How are ya?" or "How you doing, darling?" They're not just being polite. They genuinely want to know. They stop, they listen. Sometimes they'll even sit back and get comfy, ready for whatever you're about to say. That sense of warmth and connection, that's EQ in action. It's why even strangers in line at the grocery store, be it Whole Foods or my favorite, HEB, somehow feel like old friends. And in today's fast-paced, disconnected world, that kind of presence is rare and powerful. All right, let's get into it. Because honestly, emotional intelligence is one of those things that can quietly make or break everything, from your relationships to your career to how you lead through crisis. Okay, let's start with the basics. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is your ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions while also being able to pick up on and respond to the emotions of others. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about being overly emotional or having feelings all the time. It's about awareness. It's the ability to navigate those internal reactions in a way that builds connection and trust instead of chaos and confusion. It's being able to read the room, know when to speak up or when to just listen, how to manage your own stress before it spills out onto others. Think of it as the people side of success. the human glue that holds everything together when logic or strategy alone just isn't cutting it. And here's the kicker. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you don't know how to connect, communicate, or build trust, quite frankly, it doesn't matter. Because the best strategy in the world won't land if your team feels unsupported. What does EQ look like? Well, it looks like pausing before reacting. It looks like managing your stress without snapping. It looks like actually hearing someone out instead of mentally preparing your comeback while they're speaking. And you know what else it is? It's your bounce back factor. It helps you have hard conversations without causing emotional shrapnel. And yeah, it helps you recover quicker from setbacks because you're more in tune with what you need. And the best part, unlike IQ, EQ isn't fixed. You can develop it, build it, grow it, train it. Think of it like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. And yeah, it takes effort like anything else in life, but it's absolutely worth it. And that muscle, that's what makes great teammates, standout leaders, and honestly, just better humans. So, why does EQ matter so much? Well, for starters, people don't leave jobs, they leave managers. And what do the worst managers usually have in common? A glaring lack of emotional intelligence. It's hard to bring your best when you're walking on eggshells or constantly managing someone else's emotional outbursts. So, EQ is what creates psychological safety. And when leaders model emotional intelligence, it becomes part of the team culture. People feel safer to speak up, take risks, and bring their full selves to the table. And it's contagious. Teams led by high EQ leaders tend to have better communication, less drama, resolve conflict faster, and they actually want to work together. They trust each other. They show up differently. And the performance, it follows. Now, if you're sitting here wondering whether this stuff is just touchy-feely nonsense, it's not. Research backs it up. Talent Smart found that EQ accounts for 58% of performance across all job types, all industries. People with higher EQs earn about $29,000 more on average than their lower EQ peers. And 90% of top performers are said to have high emotional intelligence. In a world where AI can do the analytical stuff for us, emotional intelligence is becoming the most human advantage we have. Because a machine might be able to crunch numbers, but it can't comfort a colleague, lead with empathy, or build a winning culture. And let's be real, these quote unquote soft skills, they're hard as hell because they're the difference between good and great, between tolerated and trusted. Giving feedback without making someone cry, navigating tension without ghosting people, that's emotional intelligence. And no, I'm sorry to say, ChatGPT isn't doing that for you. Okay, now let me geek out for just a sec because EQ isn't just a feel-good concept. It's grounded in actual psychology. And yes, that's real science, folks. EQ was first introduced in 1990 by psychologists Peter Salovey and John Mayer. And no, not the singer-songwriter we all know and love. Free falling. Yeah, not that guy. No one wants to hear me continue to sing, but just in case you were confused, not that John Mayer. Then came Daniel Goleman, who took the concept mainstream with his best-selling book. He basically argued that while IQ might get you hired, EQ is what helps you succeed once you're in the door. And his model breaks EQ down into 5 core areas: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. You can think of it like this. Self-awareness is knowing when you're spiraling. Self-regulation is hitting save as draft instead of rage sending that email. Motivation is not giving up even when it's hard. Empathy is listening without immediately jumping into fix-it mode. And social skills, that's everything from giving clear feedback to reading a room without a script. Understanding this framework helps us see EQ not as a nice to have, but as a practical toolkit rooted in neuroscience. It's not fluff. It's facts. And it matters. Now, let me bring this to life with a few real-world examples. So, I once worked with a senior executive who I will call Rocky because he genuinely had the emotional intelligence of a literal rock. Super smart, visionary ideas, hard worker. But when it came to people, just no. A total disaster. Morale in the gutter. People were burnt out, anxious, and were in my office weekly venting or crying, asking to switch teams because they couldn't take his behavior anymore. How he dismissed their ideas, micromanaged projects, and made them feel small in meetings. And we tried everything. We tried feedback, coaching, you name it. Eventually, the company brought in not 1, not 2, but 3 executive coaches for him. Total cost, nearly $100,000 all in. Y'all, that's a whole salary. That's someone's full-time job. And guess what? He still didn't get it. All that brilliance, that Ivy League education, wasted because he couldn't connect. EQ was his blind spot. And it cost us. And the thing is, it cost us more than just money. It cost us trust, time, and talent. Now, contrast that with someone I also had the pleasure of working with, a VP who led with so much grace and empathy, it was magnetic. She made people feel seen the moment they walked into a room. Greeted by name, asked thoughtful questions, and really listened. And when the org had to go through layoffs, which, let's be honest, is always brutal, she led with so much compassion that even the people who were impacted felt respected. I watched her deliver difficult news while maintaining grace and empathy. And afterward, people thanked her. Like actually thanked her for how she handled it. And her team, they were fiercely loyal. And not because she was perfect, but because she was human. Those are the stories that stay with you. The kind of leadership that leaves an impact long after the job is done. Want another example of EQ in action? Let's talk about a few real public figures who are absolutely crushing it in the emotional intelligence game. First up, Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. When he stepped into the role, Microsoft had a cutthroat competitive culture. What did he do? He led with empathy, encouraged collaboration, and focused on inclusion. The result? Microsoft's market cap tripled. You heard that correctly, tripled. Then there's Jacinda Ardern, former Prime Minister of New Zealand. Whether it was the Christchurch shootings or navigating the pandemic, she led with calm, clarity, and compassion. She showed the world what it looks like to lead with heart and backbone. And I bet if you think about the best boss or mentor you've had, they weren't just smart. They likely made you feel safe, supported, like you mattered. That is EQ. And it sticks, no? Okay. So how do you actually build emotional intelligence? It's not magic. It's a practice. So here are 5 ways to get started. First up, get self-aware AF. Start by checking in with yourself regularly. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And why am I feeling this? Track your triggers and your stress responses. What sets you off? What's always a good idea? Ask for feedback from those closest to you. And pro tip, journal, voice note, jot a vibe check in your notes app, whatever works for you and helps you pause and reflect. 2, learn to self-regulate. This is where the real growth happens, y'all. We have to catch ourselves in the moment. As I always like to say, feelings are information, not instructions. You can feel annoyed without snapping. You can be frustrated without shutting down. 2 things can be true. So, pause before reacting. Walk away. Take a breather. Text your bestie before you hit send on that heated text to your ex. Name your feeling before it hijacks your behavior. My personal favorite trick, the 90-second rule. Give yourself 90 seconds before responding when you're activated. It works. I promise 9 out of 10 times you will regret the message you send when you are upset. The 90-second rule has saved me on several occasions. Ooh-wee. Number 3, stay motivated, even when it sucks. People with high EQ know how to push through setbacks because their motivation comes from within. It's not external, not from praise, not from clout, from purpose. So find your why and keep it close, especially when the work feels thankless or hard. Shout out to all the HR professionals, all the folks in the service industry, and definitely to all the single parents out there. Remember, motivation grounded in purpose is way more sustainable than chasing titles or praise. 4, practice empathy. This one's huge, y'all. You don't have to agree with someone to try and understand where they're coming from. So practice active listening. Like really listen. Ask, how can I support you right now? Or what do you need from me? instead of assuming. Put yourself in their shoes, even if you've never walked their path. Empathy isn't agreement, it's acknowledgement. I'll repeat that for those in the back who may have missed it. Empathy isn't agreement, it's acknowledgement. And lastly, number 5, sharpen your social skills. This is where it all comes together. Communicate clearly. Give feedback like you'd want to receive it. Listen more than you talk. Keep it kind and clear. Read the room. Build relationships intentionally. And for the love of God, stop writing passive-aggressive emails. No one likes those. And so every time you practice one of these, you're strengthening your EQ muscle. And why does this matter now more than ever? Here's the thing. We're living through intense, transformative times. We're navigating mass layoffs, hybrid teams, generative AI, burnout, generational tension and shifts, and honestly, a whole lot of trauma. It's a lot. People don't just want a paycheck. They want to feel human at work. They want to feel like they matter. They don't just want to be managed. They want to be understood. EQ is how we lead through uncertainty, how we connect across difference, how we make space for real conversations and real healing at work and in life. Whether you're a manager or not, EQ gives you tools to manage up, navigate conflict, and protect your peace. It helps you build better teams and better relationships. Machines might be getting smarter, y'all, but humans with high EQ, they're the future. So here's the bottom line. In a world that rewards speed, status, quick wins, and flashy results, emotional intelligence, that's your real edge. It's what keeps you grounded in chaos. It's what helps you connect when things get hard. It's what helps you lead without having all the answers. And it's what makes you the kind of person people actually want to work with or spend time with. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. And remember this, quote unquote, soft skills, they're hard as hell, but they are the ones that matter the most. So next time you're trying to level up, don't just focus on what you know, focus on how you show up. Because the truth is, EQ is your edge. And that's a wrap, folks. Thanks for hanging with me here today on The Truth Is. If this episode made you think or made you feel seen, send it to someone who needs to hear it. And hit that subscribe button so you don't miss new episodes every other week. And if you're loving what you hear, leave a rating or a review. It really helps. You can always connect with me directly on LinkedIn, Natasha Bukhari, PHR, or shoot me a note at ttiwithtosh@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Your feedback is what helps shape the content of these episodes, so please keep it coming. Until next time, stay awesome, stay authentic, and above all, stay true to yourself. This is your girl Tosh, signing off.